everybody, welcome back. HobbyNutModels.com right here. Got my Hobby Nut order in, and I wanted to show you what I got. Shockingly enough, I didn't get any paint. Yeah, I saw some model kits that I liked, and I decided, especially this one. I've been looking at this one for quite some time, and looks like a really cool little model kit to build. I wish I'd have had that one before Ruthie started her other one, but I don't know anything about this kit. Haven't even had time to turn the box and look at it. Let's say all new tooling. So Porsche, I know there's like Porsche, and I know that's some people, boy, but I bet if you saw a Porsche commercial on TV, I don't think it says Porsche. I think they call it a Porsche, but maybe not. But I've heard more people call it Porsche 911 than Porsche 911, so I'm sticking with it. Let's just do this. Is that okay? Porsche. Does it spell Porsche then if you leave the E off? The English language is a really weird language as far as spelling goes. For instance, I just heard wind and wind. I believe they're spelled the same, right? But they're pronounced different, right? On and on and on. Just the English language, like possum starts with an O. I mean, really? Who was the bright guy that said, I think we should call this animal a possum, but we're going to spell it with an O? Or these little critters that we have here called gnats, let's put a G in front of that, and instead of a gnat, we're just going to call it a gnat. Instead of an opossum, we're just going to call it a possum. And instead of a Porsche, we're going to call it a Porsche. I'm just joking. I really don't care, be honest with you. Don't care at all. It's always going to be Porsche for me because it's ingrained in my mind. It's a Porsche. Okay, so I'm sure some people just turned the video off, but we'll continue on now. So anyway, 911 Carrera 3.2 Targa. Have no idea what the Targa means. I guess that's the model. It says it right there on the door, Targa. So I guess it's kind of like maybe a open top. Maybe that means Targa. I don't know. But it's 3.2 liters, I would imagine. And oh man, good looking model kit. Very cool. Very cool. So anyway, HobbyNutModels.com is where I got this from. And these are heavy too, by the way. Like those Jaguars I just got, those new tooling Jaguars on the previous video. The boxes are very heavy. But Revell went back to not putting plastic on there. They have tape. I have not cut the tape or anything, so I haven't looked how many pieces. 114 parts in this. So, pretty cool car. I know Ruthie'd like to have one, but there's a problem. Daddy can't afford a Porsche. Porsche. How about that? What if I put the at the beginning of Porsche? I can't afford a Porsche instead of That's so stupid. I'm sorry. Not the pronunciation. I'm acting stupid. Alright. Monogram 1/24 excess wire 427 Cobra. Pretty darn cool here. This is an old kit, probably from the 80s, maybe, nope, 91. Right there, 1991. But wow, what a cool car. Looks like I'm just looking at it, I ain't going, well, did it already say 427? Yes, it did, 427. These things were mad fast. As a kid, I was infatuated with Cobras because they were just so cool. I was infatuated with Lamborghinis too, but you know, it don't matter. You can be infatuated with whatever you want to. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But I read somewhere as a kid that the 427 would do like 0 to 100 back to 0 in like 10 seconds or less or something. If I'm not mistaken, it was really fast. I mean, you had, you know, power to weight ratio was insane with when Carroll Shelby decided to use these cars. And I think, weren't they made out of aluminum? I think they were. Anyway, they were an AC is who made the bodies, and I think the beginning of them they were AC Cobras, and then they became Shelby Cobras or whatever. I don't know. I probably got that all wrong. Some of you guys that know more about it can say something in the comments about it. But yeah, that's a really cool car. And then, speaking of Cobras, Shelby 427, the street model. This is 1/24th scale, so it is a monogram kit in disguise. Looking up on my shelf, I've got a, oh, that's the flat box version. That's the 289 I've got up there, and then I've got anyway, yeah, 427 Cobra, just the coolest car of all time, really. And this looks like it was taken in the same town as that Silhouette model kit that I was showing you recently. That space age looking stuff. Well, I don't know where that was at, but anyway, looks like it would be in the same town. But yeah, very cool. 104 pieces. And just, what a cool car, man. You see so many reproductions. We were coming back from Simpsonville, South Carolina last weekend, and I was following Brian Burwell, Brian over at Got Fuels Model Car Garage. He was taking me through the back roads so we didn't have to drive the dreaded interstate. I hate interstates. And when we got I think it was, I can't remember, it was a town in South Carolina. We went through a back road in that town because he knows all the back roads, and there was a Cobra on the side of the road, or on the street, parked. I know it was reproduction, but anyway, he texted me, "Did you see that, Shelby?" I was like, "Yeah, man, so cool." So yeah, there's another Cobra right there, SC. I don't know what that stands for, but it's super cool. And I doubt it's not supercharged, but it is super cool. So I don't know what the SC stands for. Shelby Cobra, maybe? I don't know. All right, and lastly almost lastly, I finally got one of these. New release 32 Ford Tudor, two-door sedan. I saw when Mark had these posted that he was going to have some. I wanted to get one. 1/25th scale. 188 parts. Holy moly. I didn't know that. That's a pile. Build this thing two ways, fenders on, fenders off. Oh yeah, small block Ford or a flathead Ford. So I'm glad that they did something right and kept the Ford engines in them. And also, you Chevy haters, it's officially licensed by Ford. So anyway, what a cool car. I actually, let's see, I would probably build it with the fenders on. Just my personal preference. I don't know. I mean, I don't like the white frame they got on that one, or the chassis white. I don't like that. I like that where the chassis is the same color as the body. That looks a lot better. But I think I would probably build it with the fenders on. It's very cool. And lastly, from Hobby Nut Models, I picked up this. Speaking of Lamborghinis, I always thought the Countach, that was before the Diablo came out, the Countach was just like ultra, like supercar and cool to me. But now they look really super dated, because they are, what, this thing was like probably, I don't know what year this car would have been, probably from 84, 85, something like that. But they are still super cool. They say that, Jay Leno, because that's my source for pretty much all old car stuff anymore, they're not very aerodynamic, believe it or not. Even though they look like they would cut through the air, he says it's more like a brick going through the air. So I didn't know that. I would have thought, as sleek as the front is and everything, that they would have just gone through and chopped through the air like a knife blade, but that's not the case apparently. So this is a 500 quattro valve, a quattro valve 5000 special. I think that means it has 4 valves per cylinder, in a different language possibly. And I can't read the red there, but I bet it says the same thing. This is what was this thing? A Fujimi. It's not the one with the million parts, but it's still really cool. I actually don't know how many parts this one has, because I don't have Google Translate on. And they are made in Suzuka City, Japan. That's pretty cool. But yeah, very, very neat car. And Ruthie could have built this one. I didn't have them though. She said Porsche though. She didn't say, you have a Lamborghini, Daddy? I said, no, I didn't. Actually, I might. I don't know. I have to look. But I may have had a Lamborghini. Yeah, actually I do. I've got a Lamborghini Countach LP500S Fujimi that was a tester's. Got one right up there on the shelf. So I did have a Lamborghini, but she didn't ask for one. She asked for a Porsche. Porsche. And there is that. Pretty cool. All right, so that was the Hobby Nut order. And then my friend George Openhym, that lives up in just outside of Baltimore, he was at a show recently, or somewhere they were selling model kits, and he sent me a picture. You interested? And of course, George knows what I like, and I said, yes, I'm interested. And this is what he was asking me about. This is a Academy Minicraft model kit, 1948 MGTC Roadster. And yep, and very cool. This is 1/16 scale. I cannot wait to build my shop bigger so I can build something larger, because I don't have anywhere to put them. But man, that thing looks nice. Look at those wheels I took and opened the box, and wheels look really nice. Spoke wheels, but yeah, man, just a cool little car. 1948 little 48 sports car. Looks like it's got an overhead cam 4-banger, or overhead valve 4-banger. I don't think it's overhead cam, but it is overhead valve. I do see a valve cover at least. But yeah, that thing sure looks real right there. So very, very nice. Proudly made in the Republic of Korea. Huh. Seoul, Korea. I didn't know that. Here's the Korean, or the Taekwondo flag. That's what I would have called it as a kid. Like, what flag is that? Oh, Taekwondo. Because I took Taekwondo as a kid, and that's the flag, because Taekwondo apparently is Korean. And I was a, believe it or not, yellow belt. Yep, I was a yellow belt. I never did make it far in the karate, but anyway, got that one. I did not. I paid George for these. These were not gifts, although you're about to see some gifts. But yeah, just so you guys know, when he does that, I send him the money. So very cool. Thank you, George. And if I can find a place to put this thing, I asked him while he was there. He said, interested in anything else or whatever, or I might have said, hey, have you seen any of these? You know those 1930 Ford Model A's? I sent him a picture, and he went searching around, and then he found one. So 1930 Ford Coupe. Now, why can't we call that a Coupe if it's a Porsche? I don't know. It fits, right? I mean, it's got the E on the end. Doesn't it mean Gosh, I'm picking too hard. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just having fun. But anyway, 30 Ford Coupe Special Interest Series. By the way, I'm working on one of these right now. Video has not come out yet, obviously, but I'm working on one. They're not quite as easy as I thought they would be to build. But we'll get into that on the build video, which that will probably be the next video. But anyway, 30 Ford Coupe. These are just marvelous looking things to me. I just love them. My favorite car in the whole wide world is a Model A. This is a 1974 edition. My friend Kim over in Denmark said his favorite monogram kits are the strapped box kits. Well, there's your strapped box kit right there, Kim. The box obviously is not what Kim is in love with, but when they were making the model kits in this era, and yes, they've repopped millions of times, but he just remembers just, building these as a kid. So anyway, yeah, very cool. 1930 Ford Coupe. And when George was looking for that one, he showed me a picture of it. I'm like, yes. Good price too, by the way. He said, wait, there's more. And then he showed me this. So the box is a little water damage and stuff, but that doesn't matter. 1930 Ford Cabriolet. And I think I am pronouncing that one correctly because Chevrolet has the, at least the let on the end. It's not Chevrolet, it's Chevrolet. So this is a Cabriolet, not a Cabriolet. This also special interest series. Same car, just a different different roof. This section here, because this is a separate section that comes off. And this one has the spare tires on it. So that's very cool. Again, thank you, George. This is also a 74 edition. So I appreciate that. So that's another one that I bought from, or George picked up for me. And then last on the ones that I bought is this 1930 Ford Touring Early Iron Series. Remember Ruthie's pumpkin wagon? It was the one she built wasn't the early iron, but the early iron series with the striped box at least is the same. This is basically the same truck. No, she did a 29. I don't know what the difference is, but anyway, from like right there forwards, you know, that's like Ruthie's truck, and like right there down, or like that probably is the same model kit as Ruthie's. Well, I guess it would be because the running board's probably different. Anyway, early iron series 30 Ford Touring. This one doesn't have like an option to build stock, but it does have a small block Chevy with 3 2-barrels. And what year is this one? 1994. So this is a repop of the striped boxes apparently. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that they put the striped boxes out. Anyway, striped box, whatever. But yeah, pretty cool. All right, and then, and if you looked at the thumbnail, you probably saw, unless I tried to hide stuff with the thumbnail, like the words. Sometimes I do that and try to make it more exciting. He said when he sent me the box, he's like, I'm throwing a few goodies off my shelf in there. Or some extra goodies. I don't know if he said off the shelf, but he said I'm gonna throw a few extras. I'm like, man, thank you. And so he sent this 19. Well, heck, I don't know what. This is a repop of the 1956 edition of this Continental. I don't know what year model car it is, but apparently it's somewhere around 1956 because maybe a 55 or 56 or something like that. 1/32 scale. This is just like you'd have got it from Revell way back, and it's got the multi-piece body and stuff like that. And yeah, very cool. He sent that. I appreciate it, George. But yeah, 1/32 scale. Did I tell you it was a repop, 1995 repop? But yeah, does the hood come off? I guess maybe. Yeah, it looks like it's got an engine bay. Oh, it's got people. Okay, so those people that you see on the box are in there. That's pretty darn neat. I built that other multi-piece Cadillac that Billy Bear sent me. It was a 1/25 scale. Matter of fact, Atlantis repopped that kit. It's the Eldorado Broham. Haha. Anyway, I built one of those multi-piece bodies. They're tough. Well, I think it was multi-piece. Anyway, regardless of the fact, this is multi-piece. But if you ever want to like know what it was like to build a model kit back in 1956, if you get something like this, you get to experience that. And I'm not saying that in like a snarky way or anything. I'm saying it's actually pretty cool to build something that goes way back, because you get to experience that difficulty, I guess. And I guess you need to get some of that tube glue too to glue it together with. But anyway, very, very cool little model kit here. So thank you, George, for sending that. Then he also sent this Surfite with Tiki Hut by Ed Big Daddy Roth, whoever that is. That's the car that got me in trouble about not knowing who Ed Roth was, and that was an honest mistake that I did. I had no idea who Ed Roth was several years back when I picked up the it might have been at this, I don't remember. Anyway, I made a mistake. If you're a new viewer, I made a mistake several years back of saying, I don't really, and I didn't say it like, who the heck's Ed Roth? I was just like, I was looking at a model kit or something like that. It was this outlaw, and I'm like, Ed Roth, I don't know who Ed Roth is. But boy, was that a mistake. Don't do that. You'll get knowledge. Let me tell you, you will get learned in a hurry in the comment section. And I had a good time with that. It was fun. Not building the kit, but learning who Ed Roth was. I'm very versed on who Ed Roth is now, and the work that he has done. But yeah, very cool. Surf fight that comes with a little tiki hut. It's got a little, I saw one of these at, I think it was Acme last year. They had it all done up, looked really cool. And this is a repop from '93. It was originally popped, looks like in 1965. This is a '93 edition. That's really neat. The box art's just like a portrait. So thank you, George. I appreciate that. And then he sent this little guy. Atlantis 1955 Chevrolet 2-ton stake truck. Proudly made in the USA. No, this is 1/48 scale. So this is probably one of those guys that doesn't have a windshield. I don't know, I haven't opened it. It's in the plastic. But some of these small kits, I know that I had a, well, I've got the little Revell 1956 Ford pickup. The actual original edition of it from like 1956. And, or it might have been 1955. It might have been like a, they made the truck, I don't know. But it has no glass because they're so darn little. And I bet you, I don't know. Maybe I do see a quarter window. I don't know if it does or not. You guys let me know in the comments. I need to open it up and check it out. That's a really cool little truck. 1/48 scale. That's a little guy. I could build it, put it on the shelf. As a matter of fact, if I built just small scale stuff, you can put a ton more on the shelf built and on the shelf unbuilt because the boxes are so much smaller. That's really cool right there. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it does have a windshield. Dang it. Okay. I should have looked there first. So it's got a windshield. Whoever built that one, they need to have their building license revoked. That looks awful. But I don't know, maybe they had, you know, one of the CEO's children wanted to build it. I don't know. I mean, it could have been. But that looks pretty raunchy right there. Where the top looks like it glues on or something. But anyway, it'd be a fun little kit. So I appreciate that, George. And then these last two. You're gonna like this. Gonna like this a lot. Well, I mean, I like it a lot. And check this out. So, oh, speaking of names and how to pronounce something. I know there's people say Johan, but I did learn, excuse me, I did learn that the man who started Johan was John Hanley. So you get the J-O and the H-A-N. His name was John Hanley. So I believe the proper pronunciation is Johan. But I don't guess it really matters. You know what I mean? If you want to call it a Johan, call it a Johan. If you want to call it Johan, call it Johan. If you want to call it Johan, call it Johan. I didn't even know these things existed until I got back into the hobby. Yep, that's very true. Never saw a Johan kit in my entire life, or can't remember. I have this weird, I was talking to Jason at the Blue Ox Model Shop just recently on the phone. And I don't know, we get on some weird conversations sometimes, or I pretty well lead the weird conversations, but I'll tell you, man, there's something wrong. Because I built a pile of model kits as a kid. Not one time, not one memory, rather, do I have picking one off the shelf and saying, oh, look at that one. Not once. It's so weird, so bizarre to me. It's almost like I didn't exist. Kind of like I was in the time machine with Doc Brown or something, you know. I don't know, man. It's so weird. I don't know if they had Johan kits where I would get mine from, and I just didn't want those because it wasn't a Bigfoot or a Mustang or something like that. Not that they didn't have Mustangs. I don't know. Maybe they did. But yeah, I just don't remember Johan kits. So when I got back into this hobby, it was like Johan this, Johan. I'm like, what in the heck is a Johan or a Johan or a Johan? But I found out now. Anyway, all right. So with all that said, look at this Torino oval track racer, 1/25th scale. This is cool. I'm gonna have to open these up and show you guys. Now this does have barcode, so this is going to be in the 70s at least. I don't know. Maybe this was early 80s. I don't know. I know this is probably the last version of their logo, I think, as far as the ones I've got. The older ones have, where is it? The older ones would have been just white without this yellow, just red letters with a white box or a rectangle. I know some of the older ones had that, because I'm looking at my turbine car up there and it's got that. I got like the first edition, I think, turbine car. And then the later ones had that, the yellow. So I'm not sure exactly what the gear is. Watch, I have it on there. I don't think they do. But yeah, this is so cool. This is kit C3372. See, I'm gonna have to open these up. These. Did I just give it away? I'll take a look at these. I know some of them had the chassis that's already, you know, the promo type chassis, and it don't look like it because this looks like it's got a full chassis and rear end and everything. So looks like it's got a, I mean, just by looking at that, it looks like a 427 cammer, a single overhead cam. That's what the valve covers look like, at least. I don't know, maybe it's just a big block, but I hadn't looked at it. I would actually like to do that on camera and not look at it yet. So anyway, very cool of George. I was blown away. I even brought Heather out here. I'm like, check this out. And she's like, okay, yeah, But yeah, I couldn't believe it. So very, very cool right there. And then the last gift that he gave me was this one. I know a lot of you drag race builders probably really like that. I already had one of these that my friend Billy Bear sent me. Billy had done some, I think he made some headers for it. I think he opened the trunk up, some other stuff. Really hadn't got started real good, but had some real cool modifications done. And man, 64 Dodge Super Stock, and it's recharged. And I think they did, where did I see that at? It may have been Steve Mignanti, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that they didn't have the license to do the RAM charger or something like that. Possibly, I don't know. I'm just going off of what and I ain't remembering too good. But obviously my rememberer don't work too good. But I don't think there was a car that said recharged. It could have been, maybe I'm wrong, but I think they did that because they didn't have the RAM charger or something permission. I really don't know. I'm just taking a shot in the dark there. Where this one's got the dual quad manifold for the, oh, speaking of that, dual quad manifold, I've had several people, I offer that 426 Hemi 3D printed, and people have said, do you have, you know, like, anyway, I've got now, I haven't printed them yet, but I've got the cross ram looking thing like that, or whatever it's called, for the 440 and the 426, and I also have headers for the 440. I actually sent the designer some pictures, photographs of 440 headers, because, you know, on the 440, I've totally veered from this kit, but the 440, like, the front one would like go over the rest of them, and, you know, very, very Mopar looking. And he designed those headers. He's also got headers for the 426. I've not printed them yet, but yeah, I have the intakes, and I also have an intake, maybe a 426. But someone said, do you have a breather that for the dual quads that looks more like, you know, the one that went over the carburetors had the two? Anyway, yeah, I can print that now too. Just haven't had the time, honestly. Anyway, okay, back to this 64 Dodge Super Stock. So very cool. We'll show the price on there. I don't know if he got, I don't know if you saw that price. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know if he paid that much for it, but there's your hold on, this one doesn't have a barcode. This one must be a little older. GC 2864-200. That would have been a $2 model kit back in the day. That's insane. Insane. Yeah, we'll have to open up these two Johans and check them out on another video. But anyway, all right, so you know what? Oh, here it is. I wanted to show you guys one thing about MCB products. I had some people reach out and say, do you have a gasser front end so I don't have to keep robbing parts out of other things? And I found one and I got it printed. I haven't put one together yet, but I did get it printed, and it's a it's got two different width front axles. They're like pre-drilled, you know how the old race car stuff would be drilled. So you got that one and that one, two different widths. And you also have two different tie rod ends. You got the set of leaf springs, and the front, this would be steerable. I guess you could make it steer. Got the front suspension steered knuckles, or whatever you want to call it, and then the pins for the steering. I added an extra pin because if you broke one or something, they're really small. They're right in the middle of that web of supports. But I added a extra pin in case you broke one or lost one. I try to do that like on spark plug boots and stuff. If a kit has, or an engine has spark plug boots, I'll add an extra 2 or so because they're so small you might lose them, and it only takes just a second to add those. So but anyway, I'll have that available very soon. Don't have it on there yet, and you may see this video before I do, but I'll try to get it on there. I don't have a built model of it, but I'm going to do that. And also, one last thing, I just showed you recently the Pro Charged Hemi that I had, and now I'll have a Pro Charged big block Chevy. So it's a little bit different than the Hemi because this is the same designer, and I assumed that everything would be the same, like your tubing, piping, and all that stuff. But it's a little different. The Pro Charger is a little different. The tubing is a little different. So, yeah, this is a big block Chevy. It has the Reed Rossler Power Glide and the Power Glide pan. But yeah, very cool. There's your thing that goes on the front of the turbine, and if it will, yeah, there you go. You can see the turbine blades in there. It's very detailed, very cool. So anyway, got that one. Hadn't got it. I'll try to get those on there maybe before you see the video, but if not, they're coming. So I don't have a built one of these. I'll get one of these built in a few days and have it so you can see it, and it will look kind of like that one, which is the Hemi. So all right, guys, thanks for watching. Hey, I do appreciate you. As always, don't forget to go check out hobbynutmodels.com. Thank you to Mark for all your support. You're a good friend, and just wow, has provided so much for my channel. And you guys go check out hobbynutmodels.com. It's linked in the description below. Go purchase something, a model kit, some of that great MCW paint. It's changed my life, modeling life, getting a hold of MCW paint and learning the techniques to make that stuff just look wonderful. And I appreciate Mark and all his support. So go check it out, hobbynutmodels.com. And thank you to George Openhym for these other wonderful gifts and looking out for me at the shows. Hey guys, if you're ever at a show and you see something that you think might catch my attention, if you want to, you don't have to. If you can get in touch with me, Messenger or something like that, I'm always up for. I love the old stuff. So I do appreciate everybody. You've done so much for me. And I guess I'm done. So guys, thanks for all you do. We'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.